Welcome back to the Figuring It Out podcast. My name is Dana, and I'm your only host for the day. Dominique couldn't make it again this week because, well, it's actually kind of my fault. This week I had a medical emergency and I was in the hospital earlier today. Everything's fine. I'll get more into that in today's topic. But because of that, I missed our recording time and it interfered with Dominique having plans later today. So here I am recording a podcast for you tonight alone in my bedroom at 9:15 at night. Welcome back to episode 12. But welcome back. And hello if you're new and have never listened before. This is not a normal podcast, but it's going to be a very personal podcast. I have had a very hard day, and you're gonna hear me then, bitch. So, the medical emergency that had happened today was last night. Fresh start. I have chronic migraines, and it has been a part of my life for 16 years. And to put that into perspective for you, I am 20 years old. And the first time that I got a migraine, I was 4 years old, and I can still remember that migraine. Something else that will be talked about later on. If you haven't realized already, this episode is about pain, and specifically the pain that I know most, which is my migraines. I really wanted to do this episode with Dominique because we both struggle with chronic pain, but different types of chronic pain. And we relate on a very similar level with how people understand and whatnot with it, but it is just so surface level right now in my life and on my mind that I need to talk about it, and I feel like the best way to talk about it right now is on the podcast because I feel like I have no other platform to best express myself, if that makes sense. So I appreciate you listening, if you've listened this far even. Regardless. 16 years, I'm 20. It started when I was 4. I have a hard time holding down jobs. I barely graduated high school because my attendance was so poor because I could barely go to school because my migraines were so bad, or if I went to school, I would leave early because my migraines were so bad. It's a lot. And I don't even know where to start. I guess let's start with what I'm doing. They've been such a huge part of my life. I have seen 4 different neurologists. I'm currently on my 4th neurologist, and we are now on my 8th medication. And after this try of medications, the only other options that I have with him are injectable medications, which are relatively new to the market and are still in trial periods and all of this stuff, but have had one in particularly that he is very proud of, has had amazing reviews. It's a very big step, and just more things that will unfold, I guess, as I talk. But, so 8 medications, 4 doctors. I get migraines 2 to 5 times a week. And they range anywhere on the pain scale from 1 to 10, like average a 6. The most painful, probably 9, which I hit today, which is why I went to the hospital. Okay, that was a great way to bring it back to how I wanted to talk about it. Awesome. It's so weird talking to myself. I talk to myself a lot, but I've never really had a conversation with myself, even though this isn't really a conversation with myself. I know I'm having a conversation with, like, whoever's listening to this, but regardless. So I woke up this morning with a level 9 headache, migraine. Even saying, like, headache, migraine, like, to some people, to me, a migraine is a headache because migraines are the only headaches I get. Like, I don't just get, like, oh, I have, like, an ache in my head. Like, no, bitch, the light hurts my eyes and I want sound to be turned off. Like, I'm gonna vomit if I take a step. Like, the room is spinning. My head hurts. Like, I don't, and I think that's where, okay. I went to the hospital today. I am just getting so worked up because this stuff gets me so frustrated. This is why I need someone to be here to keep me on track. Okay. So I went to the hospital today because I woke up with a level 9. It was just one of those things where you can't get up. Like, you're in so much pain that sitting up is a no. Like, your whole body is just like, no, child, not happening. The idea of even, like, going pee, your urethra is like, I don't exist anymore. It's the type of pain where you wish that a knife was jabbed right directly into where the base of your head and the top of your spine meet, because it'll stop the migraine. Like, it's terrible. And it was one of the first times ever that it was bad enough that I cried and said, I need to go to the hospital. And I don't know if I said that because my doctor wrote me a prescription for medication that would help if I went to the hospital, or if I just genuinely needed to go to the hospital. And I think I genuinely needed to go to the hospital because regardless of the pain, I never really take pain medication. I haven't really taken any, like, well, I take, like, ibuprofen every now and then, like, to dull it down, or, like, if I feel it coming on, to, like, kind of try and kick it away. But, pardon. But I don't know. It just genuinely, I needed to do it. And I did it. So I went at like 11:30 in the morning, and I just recently got out at like 7:30 at night. It's 9:25. I came home, I showered, I ate. But, you know, it was a hard day, honestly. Okay. So, with pain comes like depression, I feel. Because at this spot in my treatment, I don't know how exactly to talk about this. So, alright, pain for me brings depression and anxiety and anger. A lot of anger and resentment and big time FOMO. And I guess I'm gonna start with the anger. Because that's the biggest thing that I've felt lately with it. Okay. I've tried the medication before the medication I'm trying now was called amitriptyline. And it is a antidepressant drug that somehow is supposed to help with migraines, according to my neurologist. And what it did for me was made me severely depressed. I withdrew a lot creatively. I withdrew a lot friendship-wise. I withdrew a lot personally. I withdrew a lot just in general. I wasn't myself. I was very emotional. I was very anxious. And to top it all off, I got a headache almost every single day that month. They weren't horrible migraines, but they were like 4 to 5s. Bad enough to put me to sleep at like 8:30 at night most nights. But now I'm on a new medication, which is one of the last straws of oral pill medications. And then the only options I really have are injections, which one of them is Botox. And if any of you are familiar with pardon me, that form of treatment for headaches and pain, but to put it lightly, it is 6 rounds of 30 shots all over your face and head. And there's a chance of it all getting worse before it gets better, which, hey, things I've noticed with migraine things and all migraine medications is everything seems to get worse before it gets better. Every medication I've taken, they've all said, like, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You're gonna have these X amount of weeks where your migraines are gonna get worse. They're gonna be more painful. They're gonna be way more severe, more frequent, all this shit. And then they're gonna get better. But hey, they don't. They don't get better. They get worse. And then they go back to normal, which is better than worse. So they don't lie to you. But they don't fucking tell the truth. So that's where I'm angry. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the trials and the medications and the what ifs and my body not agreeing and next steps and all of this shit. And it's like, is it ever gonna stop? Because I don't think so. And I know that's like not a good thing to say. And I know that like healing is like all in like the mentality, bro. And like you gotta believe it if you're gonna fucking do it. But like I don't see a future where I don't have headaches. And I don't see a future where I am genuinely happy. That sucks to say. But I'm not. Because I'm always either in pain, scared to be in pain, fearing being in pain, anticipating being in pain, preparing to be in pain, or wondering, am I in pain right now? Because it's so common that sometimes I forget if I'm in pain or not. And sometimes I think it's like a phantom thing. I'm sad because it's so unbelievably hard to keep strong when no matter what you do, no matter what test you run, everything comes back normal and you're fine. But you go home and you're in pain and you're writhing in bed because something's not right and you have a migraine. But no one can figure it out. I've had so many CAT scans. I have had so many MRIs. I had 2 MRIs today. Look at me go, pat on my back. I'm drained. I'm tired of fighting. And I've been saying that a lot lately about this, about my migraines, that I'm just tired of fighting. But that's the truth. And everyone in my life is telling me that you have to keep fighting. You have to keep fighting. Dana, keep fighting. Come on. Keep fighting. Go for it, girl. Do it. Yeah. Keep fighting. Woo! Beat that migraine. Yeah. Go, Dana. But like, they're not the ones fighting. They're cheering me on. But no one can tag in and let me rest, you know? If you never suffer with chronic pain, or you don't know people with chronic pain or illnesses, or who really suffer with anything at all, then I don't know if you're going to understand the drain that it puts on you, and the drain that it makes it very hard to see a future. It makes it very hard to know that I'm gonna be okay one day, and that I'm gonna figure it out, and like, that I'm gonna figure it out, and like, do something with it and, like, I don't fucking know, get through it, but it's life consuming. I've missed out on so much. Like, so much of my life has gone by because I've either been scared to go because I'm scared I'm gonna get a migraine halfway through and ruin the party, or like, I'm scared that I'm gonna make these plans and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have a migraine and can't go. Or I'm gonna make this promise and I'm gonna have to break it because I'm in pain. I'm very tired. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Oh my god. Tired of it. I want to be able to be Dana and not worry about Dana with a migraine. Does that make sense? It's my number one concern at all times. And that sucks. It sucks big time. It shouldn't be my number one concern. God, my number, like, fuck. Dude. Well, moving on from that. Another thing, if you've never experienced a migraine or chronic pain or whatever, but in this case, specifically migraines, let me break it down for you a little bit. So, me personally, migraines are really horrible. How do I describe my migraines? Okay. Alright. I want you to close your eyes. With your left hand, I want you to put it at the base of your skull on your left side with your palm. So the bottom of your palm is kind of level to the bottom of your ear, but closer to your spine. And your thumb is basically like reaching out towards your spine, and your hand is like cradling the left bottom half of your skull. And then you're gonna slowly, with pressure, push your hand up, forward, on the left half of your head, towards your face, and then down with your fingertips scraping your face. And then once your fingertips hit your cheek and your lips, slide it across with pressure. Your face towards your ear and your eye. And that whole side is where my migraines stay. And then sometimes you can take your sweet little left fingers and then like little tippy tap them on the center of your head, at the top of your head. And then tippy tap them a little bit to the right, because that's where the pain permeates to. It doesn't really go that way, but it radiates. So that's my migraine, and it pounds, and it fucking just jackhammers my eyeball until I want to die. The only way that I can describe it sometimes is that there is a giant squeezing my head with one hand. He's just like bonk, squeech. And, like, sometimes that would feel nice. Someone squeezing your head. Like, sometimes that's a nice pressure. But, sir, you're squeezing too damn tight. It also, if you've never been squeezed by a giant before, let me put it into a term that other people can maybe feel. If you've ever had a concussion or been kicked in the head repeatedly 10 times by a horse and then run over by a pickup truck, that's probably what migraines feel like. Just being completely honest. Genuinely, I can't picture a worse pain. Like, when people say I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, like, when I think of the person who I dislike the most, and I think of them having a migraine, I almost want to cry, because I don't want anyone to feel that misery. And the fact that pain can cause you to vomit is retarded. That's not politically correct. Is ridiculous. So, moving on from that, migraines suck. The title of this podcast, migraines suck. Oh, my microphone's loose. That's not good. What was I even saying? I was just ranting about how migraines feel. People understand how migraines feel. Oh, things that make me mad. People who don't empathize with people who have migraines. Go fuck yourself. And I'm putting this umbrella over every type of unseen pain, because there's a lot of invisible pain that happens, like back pains and shoulder pains and knee pains and all of these pains, neck pains and herniated discs and slip discs and all of this shit that you can't see, but it's there, and it hurts people to walk and stand and lift things and do things and put their arms over their head sometimes. So when people see other people limping and they're like, oh, hey dude, why are you limping? Did you stub your toe or something? And they're like, oh, no dude, like, I have a slip disc and like all this stuff. And they're like, oh man, you should like go to a chiropractor and like get that checked out. And it's like, yeah dude, and I've been to 4 chiropractors and like 3 pain management groups, and like I'm on physical therapy, and like I don't know. And it's like, and the same thing with like people who don't understand migraines. It's like, oh, you have a headache? I've had a headache all day, but you know, I had a drink last night, so that could be it. And it's like, oh, right. I don't drink, so I'm 12, and I've been getting migraines since I was 4. I've been talking to myself alone for way too long. This is dangerous territory, y'all. No, it's the same thing with migraines. Like, when you tell someone you have a migraine, and they ask you what's wrong, you're like, you look like you don't feel good. What's wrong? You're like, oh, I have a migraine. It's no biggie. It's okay. And they're like, oh yeah, I have a headache too. And I'm like, really? You have a headache? How about that? Do you guys like that ASMR? But seriously, it's... And then when I tell them that I'm like, yeah, right. And then later on, if like we're at work or something like that, they see that I'm struggling and I'm like, really not hanging in there. And they're like, oh, your head really hurts that bad, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I have a migraine. They're just like, oh, well, my head hurts too. Just take an aspirin. I'm just like, well, I did, but thank you. And I also took Excedrin. I also took Tylenol. I also took my prescribed medication from my doctor. And it's just, people suck. Guys, I need to wrap it up soon. I'm borderline crazy right now. Oh, it's too much. Okay. We're getting back into the nitty-gritty of it. Here we go. Oh, God bless you if you're still listening to this. Holy shit. No. Okay. Migraines. Pain. Here we go. It's a lot. And I wish people understood it more, and I wish people empathized with it more, and I wish it was more commonly known. And you didn't have to prove yourself of it because it's not seen. I wish for more awareness of my migraines. I wish for people to be more conscious, to be more alert and respecting of people in pain. And please don't judge people for limping, and don't judge people out in public for walking weird, or don't judge people that you work with because they're always complaining that they're in pain. Don't complain about other people being in pain. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's the rudest thing you can do. Like, human to human, how dare you? It is our human right to feel. And if we feel that we're in pain, we have the right to express it. And if you dare complain that someone else is in pain, fuck you. That's all I have to say about that. I got really mad. I apologize, but pain is no joke, and I hate that people don't take it as seriously as it is, because it's debilitating. It loses out on so much experience. It loses out on so much life. Oh my god, dude. Shit's bananas. And I hope some of this makes sense. Thank you for listening if you've gotten this far. And thank you so much for listening to me bitch in kind of ASMR. I surprisingly like recording by myself. Not that I'm going to record by myself a lot, but I like it. It was cathartic? Question mark? I'll fact check that later. I had fun. I hope you had fun too. This was not a fun podcast. This was a sad podcast. This was a pain podcast. This was a Dana was in pain for 18 hours podcast. Thank you for listening. thank you for hearing me. Come back next week for, hopefully, Dominique. And you can follow me on Instagram at DanaRenee __. And you can find me on Twitter at DanaRenee _. That is DANARENEE _. And Instagram is __. And you can find Dominique on Instagram and Twitter at DommyDarko. That's DOMMY _DARK0. And I love you. And I will see you talk to you next week. I hope you have a good one. Goodbye.